Hi, my name's Joanna and I'm going to teach you a little bit about playing the ukulele. I'm a school music teacher. I teach lower and middle school, and lately there's been an epidemic of ukuleles, especially in the lower school, because I introduced them into our music curriculum just a month or so ago. And a lot of our families are buying ukuleles to use at home, which is wonderful, and a lot of our middle schoolers already have them from taking a ukulele elective. And what I found is, looking at YouTube, there are lots and lots of ukulele tutorials. There's all sorts of inspirational stuff to look at on YouTube, but there's not a whole lot that's really accessible for kids and for just outright beginners who have never played an instrument. So I wanted to do a couple of tutorials that go at about the same pace that we go in school with lower school students. But of course they can also be used by people of all ages who will just go through them faster. So the first thing I want to do is introduce you to your ukulele. The ukuleles we use at school are inexpensive Mahalo ukuleles, and a lot of our families have bought them at a wonderful store here in Durham, High Strung, where they set up even their inexpensive ukuleles very well. And your ukulele, if you have one of those, will probably look more like a small guitar. That's the traditional ukulele shape. This is called a flea ukulele. This is a ukulele that I bought myself just a couple weeks ago, and I love it. It's called a pineapple-shaped ukulele. You can see why. But everything applies to any shaped ukulele. There's no difference as far as how you play it. So let me introduce you to your ukulele parts. This is the body of the ukulele. Whatever shape it is the body. The sound hole is what allows the sound to resonate through the instrument. Strings, there's 4 strings on the ukulele, very different from the guitar. The neck is this part, and the fingerboard is the most important thing to know on the neck. And it has the frets on it. And this ukulele, the frets are black, just like the fingerboards, so it's a little hard to see them on the video, but they are there. On our Mahalos, they're gold against black, so it's easier to see them. And then at the end of the neck, we've got the tuning pegs, which for this first tutorial is going to be very important. Because if you try to play on an out-of-tune instrument, any type of instrument, if it's out of tune, it's going to be very frustrating very quick. So I want to show you how to tune your ukulele at home, because this is something that at school, right now I'm tuning all the kids' ukuleles for them, so that we can get into playing very quickly. So the tuning pattern, the most common thing people sing with it is, "My dog has fleas." Everybody grew up hearing that. And if you have a piano that is in tune, that's the way I tune my ukulele, and that's one way you can do it. Find the G above middle C is your top string, the next string is middle C, the next string is E right above that, and then A. And mine's not quite in tune, so I'm going to fix that. If you don't have an instrument to tune it to at home, like an in-tune piano, you can get a set of ukulele pitch pipes. That's very inexpensive and a good way to do it. You can also just go on your computer and Google ukulele tuner, and you can find any number of websites that just play those 4 pitches for you so that you can tune to it. And if you want to get fancy, you can get an actual tuner that will tell you if what note you're playing and if it's too high or too low. And any good music store will be able to help you find that. That's a good thing to have around, especially if you have lots of different instruments you play. So my ukulele has friction tuners. That means that they go straight to the string. There's nothing in between to slow it down. The Mahalo ukuleles, and I think most ukuleles in general, have gear tuners, so that there's a gear here so that you can turn the peg quite a bit and it only changes the string a little bit. That's easier to tune, especially for kids and beginners. So I noticed that my A string is a little out of tune. So I go that way, it goes down, and then I go this way, it goes up. And it's just kind of trial and error. If you aren't sure, just move one direction and you'll hear whether it gets better or worse. So that's much better now. So now, you may want to pause the video so that you can tune your ukulele before we do the next part. For the rest of this video, we're just going to talk about how to hold it and just playing some things using the 4 open strings. That means with no fingers down. So be sure that your ukulele body is under your right arm. And remember, when you're watching me, that it's not going to look like a mirror, it's going to look backwards. That's something that in class, with some types of instruments, I'm able to play them backwards so the kids can mirror me like in a yoga class. But with ukulele, that does not work. So be sure it's under your right arm. And if you're left-handed, a bunch of the kids will always say, well, what if I'm left-handed? Well, you have a big advantage because your left hand does the fine motor work with finding the frets and holding down the chords. So if you're left-handed, I think you'll actually find it a little easier to play the ukulele. So you're going to put this body under here. It's easiest to play sitting down so that you can balance the edge of the ukulele right there on that leg and put your arm over. And most people like to strum over the top of the fretboard here. Some kids with shorter arms, especially our younger kids, may find themselves more over the sound hole, and that's fine. Just don't go too far this way or it won't sound so good, and definitely don't go too far over the fingerboard. So going about here is what I'll be doing. This hand, which we aren't going to use much in this video, I like to do a handshake position like this, and then put it under that neck, right around where that joint of my finger is, so that there's some space here. You're not squeezing a ukulele like that. There's some space here. And for now, just let your hand rest like that, and you can put your thumb up here, or if you have small hands, your thumb might be behind. And just be sure you're not touching any strings with this hand for now. It doesn't matter exactly where it is. And you notice my ukulele is pointing up a little instead of straight across. That's a much better position for playing. Okay, so once you have that, we're just going to use our thumbs for now, no other fingers, but don't make a fist. Just let your hand be nice and relaxed and floppy. And you're going to use your thumb just to strum your chords with me. And for those of you who are musicians, that's a C6 chord. And that's what it sounds like. So now let's look at the strings themselves. Next video we'll be using the note names for the strings, but right now I'm just going to use our My Dog Has Fleas, and we're just going to pluck them each with our thumb. I think my dog is scraping her water bowl in the kitchen. Sorry for those sounds. So this, we'll call them My String. So it's a good idea just to see if you can pluck that My String all by itself. Dog string has a lot of time just playing around with this. Kids enjoy coming up with funny sentences like, here's one, my dog has my fleas. The kids really like that one. Or, fleas dog has, said the wrong string. And you can just come up with different patterns, do them backwards. However you want to do it, so that you just get used to what those different strings sound like and to controlling so that you only pluck one string. And then you can also practice some strumming. So that'll be the end of our first video tutorial. Have fun with that, and in our next one we'll learn to play a chord.